on the competition circuit as well as in backyards worldwide. So fear not. Be the pitmaster of your neighborhood. Visit butcherbbq.com to stock up now. Always trust your butcher. butcherbbq.com. If you haven't tried them yet, folks, come on. Get on the bandwagon. What are you waiting for? All right, stick around for this.
Have you got questions about barbecue or grilling, maybe as a hobby or even a business? Looking to get an expert's point of view? Why not ask Dr. Barbecue? You can submit your questions by clicking on the Ask Dr. Barbecue tab on the website. The doctor is in. Here's Ray Lampe with his nurse, Greg Rempe. Dr. Barbecue.
That's right, Ray Lampe joining me here on the show. Ray, how are you, buddy?
I'm all right, Greg. How about you?
I'm doing absolutely fabulous. There he is. All right, Ray, hold on just 1 second. I'm going to see if I did a Skype update earlier. See, that's what I thought was going to happen. All right, so let me see what Madam Ruby sees. There he is. I did it. I don't know what you can see, but maybe you can see split screen or something along these lines. But can you see me?
Yeah, there you are.
All right.
No, it's not. You're not moving though.
No, okay. Now you can probably see me. So,
there you are.
nevertheless, it's not good to see me. If I can always stay away from that, I would rather try. Ray, always appreciate you making time each and every month here to talk about barbecue. And one of the recurring topics that we've been talking about is this restaurant. Which let me do some quick math here. If I take 10 and add 1, it's 2018. We've been talking about the opening of Dr. Barbecue's restaurant for 7 years now, I believe, if that's the number. Is that right?
I think that's about right. Yeah, it feels like it for sure.
So really, though, we are weeks away from the literal opening. So what's the latest on the restaurant? Then we'll go ahead and push through some other items.
Yeah, we really are. I mean, I know we said it before, but we really are. They're putting it's finished work going on now. The lights are going in. The floor is going to be polished. The smoker's in place. I hear we can maybe fire it up on Monday. Yeah, it's really all the final finished stuff now. We're probably, I'm thinking, 3 weeks away from being in, and then we got to do some training and stuff. So probably a month from start serving food. So yes, it's really finally happening. If you follow on Facebook, you'll see some updated pictures.
Yeah, and speaking of updated pictures, it looked like that mural got a little bit more intricate detail as well. I mean, you don't always see Ray Lampe taking a picture of a mural of Ray Lampe behind him, but that's a pretty neat thing you got going.
It's amazing, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, that thing is 25 feet high. And I mean, I don't know how you can say it any other way. It looks just like me. And every time he does another layer, it looks more like me. And now he actually did, since that last picture I posted, he painted the flames on my collar like my shirts I always wear. I don't know how the guy could do that. I mean, it's kind of bizarre seeing a 25-foot picture of yourself, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Ray Lampe joining me here on the show. drbbq.com is the website, of course. And Ray joins me every month here to talk about some live fire barbecue and grilling stuff. Ray, before we get into some of the Facebook questions, I understand that I believe it's a couple weeks from now you're going to be heading out to San Diego to the Del Mar racetrack, which, by the way, Ray, I know you're a fan of my show and you know a little bit about me. I'm a huge fan of thoroughbred racing, born and raised Saratoga Springs, New York, home of the oldest thoroughbred racing track, so ponies are in my blood. But if I have to go west, Del Mar is certainly one of my favorite tracks. I've never been there, but I watch it all the time on television, especially when it's in season. What's happening out there? What are you doing?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I haven't been either, and I hear it's beautiful.
Oh, for sure.
I grew up in Chicago at the seedy racetracks that weren't very nice, so it's going out there is going to be a treat. Gene Goycochea, I don't know if you remember Gene.
Gene, yeah.
He's been a KCBS guy for 30 years, probably as long as I have. And he's somehow involved with a restaurant out there in this event, and the Big Green Egg guys got him to do a booth there at this racetrack, and it's a big deal. Certainly good demographic there. It's supposed to be a beautiful place. They asked if I'd come out, and it was, I said, yeah, what the heck? I mean, this is what I do. So how do I get to pass up an opportunity like that? I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. I'm not I'm not too involved with the horses these days, but I've been known to lose a few dollars myself.
So will you be doing demos and doing cooking on Big Green Egg like the normal Ray Lampe stuff?
Yeah, we just talked. I just was trying to get a handle on it today. They're going to have like a booth where they're going to be. There's a cook-off and there's like a lot of sampling going on with the cook-off. I don't really know much about that. But Big Green Eggs going to have a booth. I'm just going to be there. I'm going to cook some ribs, pork tenderloin, and salmon, and I'll just be cooking it off and on during the day. Dean is doing some demos with us as well, so we'll probably go back and forth every hour or so. I'll cook a little something. We're not really there to feed everybody, but if you happen to be standing there and I got some food, I'll certainly share it with you.
Also, I'm wondering, from a Big Green Egg festival type of thing, there's supposed to be something going on in Bozeman, Montana. Do you have plans to be out in Montana at any point this year?
No, I don't. I mean, there's so many of them now. I just can't get to them all, and they don't all think to invite me or bother to invite me. They have different attitudes about what they should do, and inviting me isn't always a thing. But hey, I'd love to go to Bozeman, so they should invite me next time.
Have you ever been to Montana before?
Yeah, I've been to all 50 states.
Really?
When I went to Alaska last year,
wow,
that was the 50th state that I hadn't been to. So yeah, I have. And I mean, Montana is beautiful. It's a cool place.
All right, so let's hold Florida off to the side. What's your favorite state since you've been to all of them?
Oh, I love Chicago, of course. I like Colorado. The nicest people.
Chicago's not a state, Ray. Did you know that? I didn't know if you knew that. I know it's so big, people think it is, but no.
Tennessee is the nicest people in the world in Tennessee. That's for sure. That's a state, right?
Yes, full state. That's right. So is Ohio. Nobody ever says Ohio.
It depends on the week. I like all of them. Every one of them's got their character and their things about them. I'm lucky enough to have seen them all.
From an egg event, do people have to go? Would people go through? If so, okay, let me back it up. If people are interested in having you come out, do they go through Big Green Egg to get to you, or do they contact you directly? How does a booking work?
The dealer calls their distributor calls Big Green Egg. Big Green Egg forwards it to me. It's really, I'm happy to go anywhere. I have no prejudice against a big dealer, small dealer, wherever they happen to be. I seriously like to go everywhere. So I'm always in. It's really more about scheduling and them calling me, and I'm happy to do it. I let the distributor, we have this tiered system. I let the distributor sort of filter it out. If the guy's selling enough eggs and he asks his distributor to try to get me, they will. They'll ask, and I'm happy to do it. Big Green Egg covers me. Some of the dealer or the distributor will have to cover my travel money. But it's great. I love going to do these different things. I do as many as I can. So if they're not asking, they should be. It's interesting. Some of the distributors are really good about it, and they ask me regularly, and I end up going to those territories a lot. Of all places, I end up going to Fargo like 3 times last year.
Really?
Because they asked, frankly. I got lucky that it happened to be the right date too. But I mean, I like to go everywhere. It's fun. We did that one right by you. We did that. I came to Ohio, so clearly I'll go anywhere.
Yeah, right there in Hartville.
Hartville, yes.
Yeah, that's actually happening again. Hold on a second here, Ray. I got a thing going on here. There we go. I was trying to figure out what the hell was going on. That's a lot of technology stuff going on there, but I finally figured it out as I'm listening and deciphering, playing detective, and listening to you at the same time. So that grill fest that you had come to a couple years ago, that's still going on. I know you were booked up when they were. So this year they're doing it the week of the American Royal. So they reached out to me. They're like, well, who do you think we could get? I was like, oh, my God. I'm like, any A, B, and C list barbecue celebrity is going to be at the American Royal. It's a huge draw. So now, luckily, and I'm going to look like a complete ass because I said every A, B, and C list barbecue. But I did pull out an A-list reference, and I believe it has been put together, and it's by a guy that you know, and I think we both love, by the way. If you can believe it, Ted freaking Reeder is going to be in Hartville, Ohio, September 15th,
really?
I believe. Yeah, so he was not going to be down at the American Royal. I think it was like a week off, but I was like, hey, this was a pretty cool event. You're going to be
Did you tell him it's a dry county?
Well, I mean, you can go anywhere else and drink your face off, so or bring your own. I'm sure Ted isn't averse to, maybe packing a little bit for the road, right?
I would warn him, though. I know Ted pretty well, very well. He's a good friend of mine. I would warn him that there's no liquor stores around.
All right, good to know. So I'll make sure that I give Ted the warning. But so he's, I believe, I don't want to commit fully, but I believe there was some type of at least a agreement in principle that he would come down and do the Grill Fest. So if you're going to be in Hartville, middle of September, that's certainly a place to go. Speaking of September, you're going to be doing the Paradise Food and Wine Fest. Where is that, and what's involved with it?
Yeah, and matter of fact, Ted will be there as well. Ted,
wow.
Teddy will be there with me. I don't think he's there for the whole week. I haven't talked to him lately, but it's in Playa del,
right?
Playa del, I don't know, Mexican Riviera, right? So we fly to Cancun and we drive over to this other place.
Wow.
The links are all on my website. Then I give you that link to it, Ocean Resorts or something. Just send me an email if you're interested. It's really a really nice resort. A friend of mine is the executive chef over the whole resort. And what he's done is invited like 15 chefs to come there for the week. And Teddy's one of them, and Cindy Hudson from Miami's one of them, Sue Torres, my friends, Debbie Gold, just a bunch of badass chefs coming. And what we do is everybody cooks, like 2 people cook dinner every night. And then I get to do the beach barbecues, and that's what Teddy's doing too. And so I'll get a couple of the other chefs to help me. So if you're there, you're just interacting with us and hanging out all week. And it's all these really cool chefs doing different things. They'll have a bunch of liquor sponsors, food sponsors and stuff. It's really a wine and food fest at a resort in the Mexican Riviera.
Sounds like a great time. Ray Lampe joining me here on the show. Ray, I'm debating whether or not I want to ask you a hot dog question or whether or not I want to get into Facebook questions. Okay, let's go ahead and toss out the obligatory hot dog question here. A couple weeks ago, I had Stephen Reichlin on. We were talking about a number of topics. We got onto hot dogs. I mentioned to him that I don't mind eating a boiled hot dog. And he threw up the cross fingers, said that there was a 10th circle of hell reserved for people that eat boiled hot dogs. So somebody who originally came from a hot dog town, that being Chicago, having their own kind of hot dog and all these things, what's your opinion on hot dogs, the best way to have them, and are you allowed to eat a boiled hot dog without having to make the reservation in Satan's lair?
Well, with all due respect to Steven, and I love Steven, but he's a Miami guy. What does he know about hot dogs? Technically, your hot dog should be steamed, not boiled.
Mm-hmm.
So, boiling is not the best way to cook a hot dog. Steaming would be better, certainly acceptable. These days, I do griddle them, though, or sometimes grill and cook them on the fire. So boiling, not my first choice, but I'll still argue with Steven for the heck of it.
Maybe it's been a couple of years now. I've seen devices that, this one popular one out is called Slot Dog, and you put the hot dog in, you squeeze it, and it kind of cuts it all over the place. And the thought, of course, is more surface area, more ability to brown and char, depending on how you like your hot dog. You into those kind of things, or will you use the knife and spiral cut it all the way around or anything like that?
Nah, I'm not that. If I'm going to eat a hot dog at home, I'm going to just cook it and eat it. I'm not going to put that much effort into it. Although I do like when they do that. Like, you see that sometimes on the street of New York, they'll do that. And in Chicago, you'll find a thing called a char dog, where they take, in Chicago, the hot dog joints have hot dog and a Polish sausage, which is really just a bigger hot dog, a little spicier hot dog. And sometimes they'll throw those in the deep fryer, and they might split them a little bit. And I like eating that, but I would never bother with it at home. It's too much trouble.
All right, so let's go ahead and answer some Facebook questions here. First one's from Toby Odell. Pretty good question, by the way. Why don't you see more barbecue restaurants doing pork steaks or blade steaks? They're so good in the smoker. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a St. Louis thing, and you get them everywhere around there. I don't know. It's a good question. I think it just hasn't caught on. I mean, it is kind of redundant to cook in a pork butt. It's one of the things we're going through right now with menu stuff. You find something really good, but how many different ways do we want to cook a pork butt on? And everybody does pulled pork. So I think that's probably why. It's just, to most guys outside of St. Louis, it's kind of a different way to cook a pork butt. And so why would you bother with that?
Next question.
I would always eat them.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if I've ever actually had a pork steak at a barbecue restaurant or had it offered even. So I would certainly be open to that. Next question.
I don't think I've ever seen it outside of St. Louis.
Yeah. Next question from Mark Folkt. I hope I'm saying that right. On a previous show, I think Dr. Barbecue talked about people asking him to private label his own rub or put his name on a rub. with all of these rubs and all of these barbecue guys with their own private labeled rubs, is there just a simple recipe that would be close to what a lot of us on the market now? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, there's tons of recipes. That's one of the reasons I don't sell rub. I was originally selling a rub like in the early '90s for everybody, but it was a private label deal. I went to this place and they had a bunch of products that they didn't sell commercially, but you could just put your label on. I did, and I sold it for a lot of years, but it became a problem because I didn't have the recipe and they didn't want to sell it anymore, and it kind of became a real problem. I was never really secret. I think most people knew it was a private label deal. But it was fun. I liked doing it, but when I started writing cookbooks, it kind of seemed wrong. What would I do? Not share that one recipe that I was selling, or would I label a product that was already in one of my cookbooks and you already had the recipe? It really just seemed disjointed for me. I used to sell a pepper blend too, 13 different peppers, and I had a barbecue sauce, and it was actually pretty good, but I had a partner at the time, and that kind of didn't work out, and then I just never wanted to restart it because of the cookbook thing. So it just was, now because of the restaurant, we are going to definitely have some products. We're not going to have them right away at the kickoff, but we will definitely have some products because, that's what you do. I created a hot chicken rub a couple of years ago that I've never shared the recipe. So that one I think we're going to use it in the restaurant, and I will sell it. And then my original old barbecue sauce that I used to sell years ago, we'll bring that back. I've never shared that recipe either. But I think making rubs is a good idea. I think it's what you should do. What's happening with a lot of these new rubs on the market, what I see, they're doing something like, someone told me it's paprika oil, that stuff that makes everything so red, whatever it is that they're doing. And I think that's what it is. And the guys seem really to like it. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of it. A little paprika or a little chili powder will give your meat a nice color. I don't need my meat to look that orangey red. If you get a good mark on it, you kind of lose that color anyway. So, and it's hard to recreate that. So if you really like that, just keep buying it. But if you like to experiment with stuff, I mean, there's recipes everywhere. Every one of my books has got a half dozen rub recipes. All you got to do is Google that. You'll find a lot of rub recipes, and I think people should do that.
Are all of the rub recipes in all of your books similar, or every time you put a rub recipe in a book, is it something that hasn't made a book before? I guess that's the better question.
Well, yeah, I mean, you force yourself to do it different, because anytime I'm like if I'm going to this place in Mexico and I'm going to do a little rub making class, and I'll use that rub on the ribs the next day. You have tendencies, I always tell people start out with about half sugar and half salt, and then lean whichever way you feel. Well, if I'm making ribs, I'm going to lean to the sugar side. I'm going to have maybe even 2 parts sugar to 1 part salt. And I end up there all the time. And then I'm going to add some garlic and some onion and some chili powder and some paprika. And then I really like thyme. So if I'm going to add some herbs, I'll add some thyme. I like to add maybe a little cinnamon and nutmeg. And I end up accidentally with the same damn rub every time I do it. Now, when you're writing a recipe for a cookbook, you can't do that. You have to go out of your comfort zone and grab the lemon pepper or the basil or whatever it may be. And then maybe not so much sugar and use some different things just for the sake of making it different.
Ray Lampe joining me here on the show. You find him here once a month, the first Tuesday of every month, by the way, for Ask Dr. Barbecue. drbbq.com is the website, and if you're going to be out west here in the next couple of weeks at the Del Mar Racetrack, be sure to poke around and say hi to Big Green Egg guy himself, Ray Lampe, as he'll be out there repping Big Green Egg and cooking up a little bit of stuff here. So, Ray, always appreciate the time, and we will look for you again next month.
Okay, Greg, take care.
You got it. There he is, Ray Lampe. Admittedly, that audio was a little brutal.
Get that free stuff out of here.
I'm telling you, I did some Skype update. Was it 2 weeks ago? I must have not had a lot of Skype stuff, but some of this stuff is brutal. Well, that's all right. Again, if you are interested, we had referenced briefly the Paradise Food and Wine Fest. I think he said that was somewhere in Cancun or north of Cancun or south of Cancun or something like that. There's a link, Paradise Food and drinkfest.com, Or if you want to shoot Ray an email, go to his website, drbbq.com. You can contact him through there, and he can give you some links and ideas on how you can get tickets and stuff like that. But, you know, me and that's not my cup of tea. I don't like leaving the country. I, for some reason, believe that Mexico is very dangerous for a celebrity of my stature, so I will stay here in the confines of the friendly and safe United States. Look for Ray again next month. Let me talk to you quickly about Traeger Grills before we talk about the Slow and Sear. David Parrish. Behind every great meal is a great grill, but not just any grill, a Traeger grill. And the Timberline is Traeger's most advanced grill yet. It allows you to smoke, grill, bake, roast, braise, barbecue like a pro no matter what your level. Thanks to the incredible wood-fired taste. Seriously, you don't know flavor till you're cooking with it. Traeger grills use all-natural hardwood pellets as fuel. So you're literally cooking with flavor, from low and slow smoked ribs to a seared steak, even a baked apple pie. Traegers can handle it all, and the Traeger Timberline makes it even easier thanks to the Wi-Fi capability. You can check on your cooks, kick up the temperature, and set custom cook cycles anytime, anywhere, right on your phone through the Traeger app. In fact, if I was cooking right now, I could go check out my brisket. How about that? Very easy. Find one at your local Traeger dealer or check them out online at TraegerGrills.com. That's TraegerGrills.com. Want to beef up your barbecue game? Sure. Traeger Shop Class, going coast to coast, bringing barbecue knowledge and amazing wood-fired food everywhere they go. Taught by professional pit masters, you'll take home all the skills you need to reach barbecue glory. Find a shop class near you today. TraegerGrills.com/shopclass. That's TraegerGrills.com/shopclass. I believe embedded correspondent from Texas, Doug Scheiding, is in, I believe he's in Montana. Or is it Wyoming? Doing a shop class. So much far north and a little bit west for Mr. Doug Scheiding. Good luck as you teach the good folks of that state Traeger barbecue. Adrenaline Barbecue Company, Slow and Sear, Dave Parrish. Coming up next. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rampey.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show is being brought to you by cookandpellets.com, your number one source for quality wood pellets. You can find them at cookandpellets.com. You can also purchase at amazon.com as well. And I am trying to find David Parrish on Skype. So let's see what Madam Ruby sees. I'm sure there's going to be like 100 David Parrishes. Well, let's see how this works. If I open Skype, is that let Skype access your contacts? Sure, why not? Well, I don't see him. David Parrish. Well, this is something else. I think I got two different versions of Skype going on now. I'm wondering if, is anybody on the Facebook feed? Did that actually go through? Let's give them a number to call in. Let me alert the guest here. John, I'm going to forward David the hotline number and have him call in if that's all right with you.
Standing by.
All right. I don't know if he's going to call, but we'll see. Otherwise, we're going to have a very short Slow and Sear. Do you have a Slow and Sear, John?
I have 3 Slow and Sears.
What?
Yeah, I can talk. I can fill this segment if needed.
Wow.
No problem.
You're that big of a fan of the Slow and Sear?
I'm that big of a fan.
Wow.
And I pay for them.
Okay, well, good enough. All right, there's I'll let that go for now. All right, well, let's see if he calls in, and we'll go from there. It's John of Michigan, who is a huge Slow and Sear fan, evidently. I didn't know it was that big of a fat 3. That's nice. I have been told by any number of people that it is the perfect accoutrement or accessory to your kettle-style grill. So, looking forward to talking with Dave. By the way, if you were wondering, you can find cooking pellets at cookingpellets.com, or you can buy on amazon.com as well. So, if you're looking for either one of those, that's fine. While we're waiting for Dave to potentially call in, let me talk to you about a brisket cook that I did over the weekend. So if you're following me on social media, this past Thursday signified the reemergence of what I was terming the summer of brisket. Now, initially, the summer of brisket was going to start Memorial Day because I cooked a brisket there, and the initial commitment on my part was to cook 1 brisket per week all summer long. So we were looking in excess of 10 to 12 briskets, 1 a week. And it didn't even need to be weather allowance because I have tents, so it didn't matter. Because of years and years of softball, we've accumulated enough weather-resistant stuff so we can just toss up 20, 30 feet of cover and we're good to go. So that was the summer of brisket. Then the youngest decided, I do miss softball. I want to play softball again. Summer brisket out the window for the last 8-9 weeks. But this past Thursday, they lost at Softball Nationals in Findlay, Ohio, and the summer of brisket reemerged. John Solberg, the guy who I was just talking to, he also produces the Best of show, sent me a Black Label Snake River Farms brisket just shy of 18 pounds for my birthday. And this past weekend, I was finally able to cook it. Took me the better part of 5 days to get it really thawed out. And then it was unknowingly in the refrigerator an additional week because when I thought I was going to be able to cook it, it didn't thaw all the way out yet. So I dry aged it for an additional week in the refrigerator. And as I had mentioned, the first one of the summer of brisket was Memorial Day. That was, I believe, a choice grade. It was a whole packer. So stepped up almost as high as you can go in the quality department with this particular brisket. Obviously, it's Wagyu, which also meant that my butt was puckering a bit because I didn't want to mess it up. I also recalled the last time that I had Matt Pittman from Meat Church on, he was talking about a brand new method of how to cook briskets that he was working on, but we didn't really get into it. Time was evaporating. We had some other topics that I wanted to get to first, but he kind of threw that nugget out. So I went and reached back out to him and said, hey, could you lay the method on me? So the good news is this: simple in execution. You definitely need time on your side, or adjust your start time accordingly, but in its very essence, I started the Traeger 850, got it to 195 degrees pit temperature. For a timberline, you can also do the super smoke setting, which I did have activated at that point. Did my trim, mostly removal of the top side, fat, and silver skin. Did I get it competition trimmed? No, not competing. I got 90-some% of the top fat and silver skin. Well, I got all the fat that I wanted off. I got 90% of the silver skin. Not really concerned. And then a really good base layer of Holy Cow, and then a top layer of Holy Gospel, both meat church rubs, then into the smoke, and let it go per direction from Matt Pittman. 14 hours. Then step 2. So step 1, well, step 1A, trim it up, do however you're going to trim it. Step 1B, season. Step 1C, pit temperature, initially 195. Very simple so far. Step 2, wrap the brisket tightly in butcher paper, then back in the cooker for roughly another 3 hours, ramping the pit temperature up from 195 now to 275. Or until done. So I started checking internal temperature at 100, so an hour and 45 minutes into that additional 3 hours at the 275, tightly wrapped in butcher paper, I started probing for temperature both in the flat and the point. And I was shooting for a bit higher temperature than the magical 203, 204 number, because I recalled Sterling Ball for Big Papa Smokers saying at some point, whether it was on this show or an outside conversation, that he takes his Wagyu briskets to 210 or something like that. So I was pushing for right around 208, 209, then go for the hold for 2 hours. So as far as the method is concerned, super simple, easy to follow, made a great brisket. I might have overshot just a tad in finish temperature, maybe, but it sliced well both from the flat and the point sides. Great flavor. The only thing I would say, and it must be the Wagyu, very rich on the mouthfeel and the flavor. So for me, it's kind of in that same vein as pork belly burnt ends as far as the richness is concerned, but I had good slices. I wasn't going to be packing it in, so I had, 3 or 4 slices, a couple of the flat, a couple of the fatty, and to date, best brisket so far. So once again, thanks to Matt Pittman for the simple, easy to follow directions there. All right, we're finally able to put it together, and we got about 5 minutes, so let's go ahead and race to the hotline and welcome the founder, creator of Slow and Sear, an adrenaline barbecue company, Dave Parrish, joining me. Dave, how are you, buddy?
Hey, Greg. Thanks for having me here. It's a pleasure, and I'm doing great.
Good, and I'm not sure exactly what happened. Skype is my fault because I did an update, and evidently I don't know what I was doing, but we can always reset up for a little bit longer episode here in the next week or two. But I wanted to at least get you on quickly and talk a little bit about the Slow and Sear. And I guess the first question is this. We all love the kettle grill. I've often said that the kettle is kind of the gateway drug that if you're not into barbecue is going to get you to at least really think hard about getting into barbecue. But it's not a singular barbecue cooking device. There's some deficiencies, and then within deficiencies, there's room for invention. So enter the Smoke and Sear. So if we're not familiar with what this is, give us a little idea of what the Slow and Sear is and what you're looking to accomplish if it's an accessory that you're getting for your kettle cooker.
You bet. So the Slow and Sear is basically a metal insert that you put on the charcoal grate that turns your your kettle cooker into a powerhouse smoker and a much better grill. It has a corral that holds charcoal, and then it has a corral that holds water. And that water is a vertical wall that sits between your burning charcoal and the indirect side where you're cooking your food for indirect or convective type baking, roasting type cook profiles. If you put the food over the charcoal, you're using the sear zone. So it gives you very effective 2-zone cooking. You've got a sear zone. You've got an indirect zone where you can smoke, bake, roast. It gives you hotter fire than you can get in the kettle without it. It gives you more efficient, longer smokes than you can get using any other method. It's just a really great device, and we're very proud to be selling it.
How long has it been? Well, I guess when was the concept of it, and how long has it been on the market?
So the concept came out late 2014, and I still had a day job at the time. And let's see, by March or April, we had prototyped it. I sent it to Meathead at AmazingRibs.com. He loved it, and he said if I could figure out how to make these in mass production, he would write a review on them, and he would be happy to recommend them. And when he said that, I had no choice but to figure out how to make these things. And then I believe it was June of 2015, we started selling them.
So was it something where you liked the kettle enough that you wanted to be able to really maximize its versatility, and then you decided, because there were some other products that were out on the market well before the Slow and Sear ever entered that was trying to achieve more or less the same type of thing, but the Slow and Sear really seems to have mastered exactly what all those other people were shooting for.
It's those other products that drove me to create the Slow and Sear. At the time, I was working in the Pitmaster Club at AmazingRibs.com, and one of the things that we do is address questions from the people that read the website or are members in the forum. And by hearing those questions, we realized there's something missing that needs to be in the market. And the Slow and Sear came from that brainstorming.
Dave Parrish joining me here on the show from Adrenaline Barbecue Company, the website ABC Barbecue, that's BARBECUE.com. Dave, from the first one to what you're offering now, how many different versions of the Slow and Sear are there?
Well, we started with the Slow and Sear, the regular Slow and Sear, and then it had an open bottom and relied on the charcoal grate that's built into whatever kettle grill you have to hold the charcoal in place. Folks asked us to put a bottom in it, so we did, and we called that the Slow and Sear Plus. These things, back at that time, there was a lot of hand welding involved, and it could take anywhere up to 30 minutes to weld one unit.
Wow.
We became so successful that we couldn't keep up with demand, so we were trying to come up with something that we could produce in more quantity. We wanted to improve on the product, and we wanted to reduce costs. So we're going for, at least we got two of them. We got more quantity and we got more features. So with this new Slow and Sear 2.0, based on what we learned from both the Slow and Sear and the Slow and Sear Plus, we made a number of improvements. The water reservoir is removable now. So when you don't need water, you can take that reservoir out. You have a 20%, 30% larger sear zone. So you can get 3 huge honking steaks on there instead of 2 honking steaks. The ventilation pattern in the base plate has been improved, so the airflow is better and there's less ash collection during the cook. And it's just a all-around improvement to the original. And it took me 3 years of late nights and banging my head against the wall to come up with something that I actually thought was better than the Slow and Sear.
You had mentioned that you had a day job when you started this. I'm assuming that at this point you're full-time Adrenaline Barbecue Company?
That's right. I stopped the day job in October of 2016, and I had to tell Meathead in January of 2017 that I just couldn't do that anymore because running your own business is, it's really hard. It's, like when you have a kid and people tell you how hard it's going to be to raise a baby, and you're like, okay, yeah, I understand it's going to be hard. You don't really get it until you have the kid.
Yeah.
Well, this is kind of like, running a business is kind of like having 5 kids at the same time. So there was just no room for me to do the other 2 jobs anymore.
You a married guy, Dave?
I am married 18 years.
So was that a tough conversation to have with your wife, that you're like, hey, the barbecue thing is really booming and this is a risk, but here's where my passion is. I'm going to leave this consistent day job thing. I mean, a lot of people might have a little bit of a hurdle to leap.
She was very supportive. She has a sales and marketing background, though it's in biotech, not barbecue. Those are very similar, though. Anyway, she saw the potential, and she saw what we were. She saw, how Meathead loved it, and we just. It really wasn't that much of an investment to get started in the beginning, and we just did it. And she was supportive, very supportive. She actually works for the company now.
Keeping it all in the family, right, buddy?
Yep.
That's the way to do it. Dave Parrish is the founder and creator of the Slow and Sear. The company is Adrenaline Barbecue Company. And the website, once again, if you're interested in taking a look, ABC Barbecue, BARBECUE, abcbarbecue.com. Dave, again, apologize for the tech issues up front there, but we'll get you loaded back in here in the next couple of weeks and get a little bit more in depth with the Slow and Sear, but appreciate you calling back in so we can get this done.
Sounds good, sir. I had a great time, and I look forward to being on the show again soon.
All right, thanks, Dave. There he is, Dave Parrish from Adrenaline Barbecue Company. John, I don't know if he made the transition back over to you or not. Might have hung up. Like, that damn Rempe ruined my segment. Anyway, abcbarbecue.com if you're interested. Let me talk to you quickly about Green Mountain Grills, some of the best pellet cookers out there on the market today. I feel this question a lot. How do you talk about Traeger, and then how do you talk about Green Mountain Grill? What are you talking about? Don't be a jealous bastard because 2 of the best pellet cookers out there on the market today find relevance in sponsoring a show that's outside the box just like they are. There's a niche for everybody. There's room for everybody in the pellet cooker market. Certainly everybody wants to dominate. Green Mountain Grill, no different. They have a great lineup of products depending on what you're looking to do. Might I suggest, if you're looking for something in the big realm, you got a lot of family members, you like to do a lot of cooking in general, maybe you got a big family, Jim Bowie on the Green Mountain Grill side is the way you're going to want to go. You can fit a number of pork butts in there, a couple whole packers, multiple racks of ribs, all the good stuff. You're off and running. Then Daniel Boone is in the middle. That's kind of my go-to pizza oven. We'll talk about that here in a second. But if you have a medium-sized family, Daniel Boone might be more your style. Or if you like portability, certainly you want to take a look at that Davy Crockett. If you don't have access to a traditional power outlet, you can use the 12-volt adapter that comes with that, so it's ready to go wherever you are. And you're not sacrificing a tremendous amount of capacity when you talk about portability here either. So you'll be surprised with how much you can get into that Davy Crockett. Now, pizza oven insert, I always talk about it because I use it, just used it a couple days ago, made 8 pies. We're using those pita shells because we don't want to mess around with the dough the particular day we were doing it. So those work really well. Extra large pita shells that you put on the sauce, do your toppings, and away you go. 3 minutes or less, those pizzas are out. Everybody's having fun. Pizza parties are fun again, folks. Thanks to the pizza oven insert at greenmountaingrills.com. Once again, the website, greenmountaingrills.com. And we'll be back to wrap the first hour right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
And this segment brought to you by Fireboard. Monitor up to 6 different temperatures simultaneously. Connect the Wi-Fi for cloud-based monitoring or connect via the Bluetooth. If you have Alexa or the Google Assistant in your home, you're lucky because Fireboard fully integrated with both, learning new skills all the time. Find out more by visiting fireboard.com or call 816-945-2232. It's 816-945-2232. Tell them the Barbecue Central Show sent you. You'll be happy that you did. All right, let's go ahead and wrap up the first hour. Thanks again to Dave Parrish, Adrenaline Barbecue Company, abcbarbecue.com. If you have a kettle grill and you're looking for the go-to accessory, you might want to consider the Slow and Sear. Don't fall for the other ones. I currently don't have a kettle grill, believe it or not. Otherwise, I would probably look into getting one. All right, we're pouring into the second hour. Lots of great stuff to go in there. Jess Pryles, Tales from the Pits, and who knows what else. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show right here on the Barbecue Central Network. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Jeff Richards, Columbus, Ohio. You're listening to Barbecue Central. Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
Boing. We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me!
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead and he's in the crackle.
Charbono! It's all about the charbono, dude!
Succulent fish. What?
He ate sushi for wiener.
But listen, Liberty, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
All right, just like that, we're into the second hour. It's the Barbecue Central Show. Hello. We cover barbecue and grilling related talk. And we do it once a week on Tuesdays, live 9 to 11. I'm also recording, so you get podcast. First hour on Wednesday, second hour on Thursday, and a best moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less on Friday. Is that enough content for you? You're welcome. As mentioned just a few minutes ago, still to come on the show this evening, Jess Pryles in about 13 minutes from now, and the dudes from Tales from the Pits podcast. John, are you excited about the Tales from the Pits podcast, guys, coming on?
I've been excited all week.
All week?
Yeah, this is big.
Yeah, can't wait. So you're a big fan of the Slow and Sear?
I absolutely am.
All right. Did Dave make it back to you or no?
He did not.
Oh, he's just like, I'm out.
No, it's just it's a thing that we're working through.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing, no doubt.
It's a long,
very long, testy thing.
Yes.
What are you gonna do? All right. It's John. Thank you, John. Wait to see what happens with Tales from the Pit. Jess Pryles will be coming up on the phone in 12 minutes from now. I got an email feedback on the steak associations from last week. Dear Greg, it seems to me that the ACSA is just a less expensive version of the SCA, a la Arctic to Yeti. Does SCA need to fear ACA? In my opinion, no. There's probably room at the table for Big Brother and Little Brother. As far as the National Grilling Society, looks as if it's a beefier version of the ancillary contest they have halfway done for years. Nothing really that new or exciting about it. KCBS is the kid on the playground that others tire of playing with because they are too bossy, have too many rules. In a futile attempt, after some pouting over in the corner, they try to lure you back in with a new toy. Like many other innovators, in the end, I think SCA will prevail. They were and are the game changers. Sincerely, no names, please, from Virginia. No names, please. Okay. I don't know. I don't think. Well, I'm going to agree with you, no names, please, from Virginia, and say that I certainly don't think that the SCA is going anywhere. I don't know, because of their relative youth, it's months old, that the ACSA has any ability to forecast out, from my perspective, on if they are going to make it or not. Dan Hurst is a very successful barbecue organizer here in the state of Ohio. So I know he has that passion and that organizational skill set to move the ACSA ahead. They have a number of contests that they are either talking about putting on here over the next handful of months, and then next year, in their first full year from calendar month to calendar month, should have, over 100 or so events. So can you sit here and compare a sanctioning body that just opened up a couple months ago versus the one that's been here for the last handful of years and that has a recurring spot here on my show, that being the State Cook-Off Association? I don't think we need to compare those yet. I don't think there's really any comparison at this point, and we'll see how the ACSA continues to grow. We'll see where their niche fits in. And it could very well be that those two fly independently of each other. And from a host's perspective, all I want to see, once both are ramped up at full go, if the SCA is not at full go yet, where is that going to be? That's kind of scary to think about. They're doing, is it over 300 events this year or whatever it is? Once the ACSA gets to their cruising altitude and the SCA gets to their cruising altitude, I don't know if NGS is really trying to bill itself as a steak cook-off type competition sanctioning body versus a lot of ancillaries with a steak thrown in every now and again. But I would love to see an ACSA and an SCA at some point go head-to-head for an overall champ, or, as Dan Hurst said, a top 10 from SCA and a top 10 from ACSA go head-to-head and get a top 20 there and an overall winner. And you could go by sanctioning body winning and then an overall individual winner, obviously. The more that place in the top 10 get the sanctioning body award or the steak cooking cup or whatever it is. But I think at this time it's foolish to compare ACSA and SCA. And ACSA is going to take some because they're the new kid on the block. There's going to be a perception that they're trying to do something that is like the SCA or trying to compete with them directly. Certainly it's a steak cooking association, or it's a competition steak event, so there is inherently competition in there. But at this point, I don't think we need to worry about comparisons, or is one person going to go away or be that much bigger than the next, so on and so forth. But good email, good thoughts there. So we'll see how the American Competitive Steak Association tracks out here. Also, the National Grilling Society. Also, I don't know if you saw this in the news, for fans of Daniel Vaughn, who is the barbecue snob on Twitter. He was promoting the fact that he was having a pilot episode of a TV show entitled Smokelandia. The pilot was on Cooking Channel, I believe, a couple weeks ago. Did a lot of promotion there to get eyeballs on it. And in the end, it did not...
Andrew, you are not the father.
...get picked up. And so that show will end up as a one and done for now. Again, the pilot did show, but Cooking Channel passed on it. Many of you emailing me and DMing me your experiences at steak places and reporting on your temperature recon. I got a message from a newer listener of the show. His name is Jason. He mentioned to me that he was going to a fairly upper class steak restaurant in New York City, a place called Del Frisco's, a couple weeks ago, and reported back on his experience with requesting temperatures. And here's what he relayed to me, because I also did my first of what will be two for the end of the month, because I didn't do my own homework assignment last month, which was very unprofessional of me. but I went to a pretty fine dining restaurant in Tremont last night called Dante's. I'll get to that here in a second. But Jason went to this place called Del Frisco's in New York City. So he reports back on requesting temps, and what he tells me a bit shocking. And he said that when he asked the server what temp their medium rare is cooked to, the server would not give him an answer. Instead, the server explained what color he would expect. He pressed a few other times, eventually relented because he didn't want to make his other guests feel uncomfortable, which I get that. But, and as Jason wrote, to me, while color is certainly a part of doneness, it's not the only way you get an accurate reading. Even the SCA events, while there is a color scale that the judges use to score against, the cooks are attempting, the cooks are temping their steaks to confirm doneness. I've seen it in person, not just going off color alone. By the way, how would you know what color the temperature is supposed to be? Like, how would the cook know what the hell the color is unless he cut it open? And you know that isn't going to happen, right? They're not going to cut the steak open. Also, as Meathead pointed out earlier this month, lighting can impact how the steak actually looks once you cut it open. Bottom line, this is a long-winded way of saying that the only way to tell what temperature the steak is to use a thermometer. If the server is telling me medium, what temperature is that? Oh, it's a warm pink center. Well, what temperature is that? If lighting can affect color, if air on the open meat or the exposed meat can affect the color because it always gets more red when it's exposed to more air, you can't just go off of color. Now, when I was at Dante's last night, I specifically asked my server, can you take my steak to 130 degrees? She looked at me initially like I was kind of a kook, which I am. And I said, oh, by the way, I have my thermometer in my pocket. I'm not just happy to see you, and I'm going to temp that steak when you bring it out. I wanted to give myself up fully right up front. She had no problem with that. The temp carried over. I'm not going to tell you what it carried over to. That will be reported in the embedded correspondence segment. But I will tell you about Big Papa Smokers, the #1 online shop for all things barbecue. Their curated selection of only the best outdoor cooking and grilling supplies get you on the path to better barbecue results in no time. Everything at BigPapaSmokers.com has been Pitmaster approved by Sterling Big Papa Ball himself. From the award-winning rubs and sauces to the American-made grills and smokers, Big Papa's has something for every type of outdoor cook. They know and are known for their championship rubs and seasonings, popular flavors like Sweet Money, Cattle Prod, Cash Cow, all proven winners on the competition circuit and in the backyard. They also have teamed up with Simply Marvelous Barbecue to form what is known as the West Coast Offense. Everybody loves that flavor profile. They also are the award-winning owners of Granny's Barbecue Sauce. Looking for a new go-to sauce that will please everyone? Granny's traditional yet powerful flavor remind us why we fell in love with barbecue in the first place. You can find Granny's Barbecue Sauce and other top-rated barbecue sauces at BigPapaSmokers.com. Aside from their premium selection of rubs and sauces, they also offer the very best charcoal, pellet, and wood cookers available today. If you're looking for a versatile smoker that's easy to use, check out the Mac 2-Star Pellet Grill. Big Papa Smokers is the exclusive Mac dealer. They even offer special packages. If you're not a fan of pellet smokers, all right, take a look at the old Hickory Ace BP, why don't you? The only charcoal smoker that Big Papa trusts on his competition trailer. If you're not a backyard, or if you are a backyard barbecue enthusiast looking for a durable and versatile grill that will last forever, the M Grill from Texas, just what you need. They're built like tanks. I've seen them in person. It's clear that Big Papa Smokers is the place to go for all things barbecue. Every product featured on their website has been selected to help you barbecue better. Boost your barbecue skills with the help of Big Papa Smokers, the #1 online barbecue store. Call them toll-free, 877-828-0727. That's 877-828-0727. Or shop their website at BigPapaSmokers.com. That's BIGPOPPA Smokers.com. Jess Pryles, Hardcore Carnivore, coming up out of the break. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central show right here on the Barbecue Central Network. Stick around. We'll be right back.
The only show giving you a monthly visit from a doctor of barbecue. A man actually named Meathead. The author of a barbecue Bible. Bloggers, reviewers, competitors, and manufacturers by the dozens. It's the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Hey, Smoking with Smithfield committed cooks. Make sure you head to smokingwithsmithfield.com and report your first place prize winnings and claims to your prizes. Have you registered to compete in the American Royal Pork Loin Ancillary? Smithfield just increased the prize purse to $6,000. Make sure you sign up at the American Royal website today. And don't forget to sign up for the Smithfield Classic, which will be in Richmond, Virginia on September 29th. To sign up, reach out to Jesse with Big Papa Smokers. That's Jesse, Jessie, at BigPapaSmokers.com. And you can get in with the Smithfield Classic. I believe there's only a few spots left, believe it or not. Rapidly approaching a little bit more than a month and a half out. Again, that's September 29th in Richmond, Virginia. That is a guinea pig style event, if you will. So make sure that if you're interested in that, you get down with it. Jess Pryles on the clock right now. Nothing yet, right, John?
Nothing yet.
All right. I gave explicit instructions, so we'll see. You know, as John said a little bit earlier, we're dealing with something for a while now. So we'll see. Now, remember, with a call-in number and a real live phone screener, my guests have to take the onus of actually making the call in themselves. Dangerous. I trust nobody. So, you know, for me, I just figure they're not even going to bother doing it. And then sometimes it happens. It really does. John Dawson with an email in the subject line, SCA versus ACSA Remps. As it's said, the riches are in the niches. So his money on SCA. All right. Riches in the niches. Does that apply to me? Riches in the niches? While we're waiting for Jess Pryles, I don't know if you guys saw this in the news or not. According to eklist.com, or maybe it's Eklist, this lady, Regina Morelli Benford, fell face first onto a red-hot barbecue. Whoa. Look out, Regina. Regina Morelli Benford has made an incredible recovery since suffering first, second, and third-degree burns on her face when she fell headfirst onto a barbecue and passed out. Mrs. Morelli Benford says her firefighter husband, Sheldon, 49, saved her life when she passed out after falling onto the red-hot grill. Mrs. Morelli Benford was left with large wounds on her face and swelling so bad it closed up her eyes after the freak accident at her home in Rockwood, Pennsylvania. Mrs. Morelli Benford was trying to move the grate on her barbecue, which, according to this picture, and I'll post the link in the show notes, looks like it was a fire pit that was going pretty good. And they had some type of makeshift grill grate that they were cooking hamburgers over with. I don't know if this specific picture that I'm looking at right now was the exact setup moments before the incredible accident. But looking at the setup, you know, it might be a little country Pennsylvania, if you know what I mean. I'm not saying that I probably wouldn't give it a try in a certain state of mind, or I was feeling a little fire pyro guy. That's redundant. I just can't tell exactly what type of material. So there's big iron rod bars, and then there's this I don't know what it is. It's not expanded metal. Maybe it is some kind of expanded metal, kind of thinnish. But anyway, she was trying to move the grate on the barbecue because the fire beneath it was getting too big. And the metal was beginning to bend in the heat. That's a pretty strong fire if it's starting to bend metal. Either that or the metal that you're using is very thin. Like charbroil thin. You know what I mean? Mrs. Morelli Benford was lucky not to have suffered more serious injuries in the peculiar accident. She had to keep her face as clean as possible so it did not become infected, and she used various oils and moisturizers to help her skin heal. So here's what I can ascertain, because the story, although more picture-laden than word-laden, which, by the way, is exactly how I like to read. More pictures, less words. So what I think happened is, as said, the grill grate started bending in. She didn't want the whole thing to just fall into the fire. But if it's bending, like, why save it? It was probably fairly cheaply made. There wasn't a lot of effort put into it. She's got a firefighter husband. All this stuff. So they probably could have made a different one. Or another one, I guess, would be better to say. But at the time, she probably saw it going in. I want to save it. I'm wondering what kind of burns she had to have had on her hands. I mean, the way this fire pit is, and it is lit up and going. So I imagine there's some type of grease that's dripping down into the fire. So you're having a 100% complete involved fire that's going, right? So she probably got up, grabbed it with her hands. I'm hoping that she had gloves. Welder's gloves at that. Maybe they did. Again, firefighter husband, so maybe he has accoutrements to deal with the high heat. Maybe he's a welder too, and he has welding gloves. I have welding gloves in my backyard when I start touching hot grill grates. It's a lot easier to figure out where the dexterity is going to come from than burning my fingers off, having a good grip on it, right? So that thing starts to cave. I don't know if she tripped or just fell into the fire pit, but the thing that is alarming is that she passed out into the fire. She passed out, or she fell face first into the fire and then passed out. And I'm looking at this picture of her, and it is brutal. Brutal. And I think she passed out, because she probably popped her head on that steel fire pit and literally knocked herself out. Maybe didn't pass out. Or the other theory here is that I have working. She fell into the fire pit and the heat was so intense. Her body was like, oh my God, that's so painful. I got to pass out right now because I can't handle the pain otherwise. Maybe that's what happened. But, you know, the whole forehead, the eyes swole shut, bad shape. But really, she's made quite the recovery. Aside for some, red marks of skin up on the top of the forehead, the rest of the face looks wildly healed. So that's great. Very happy for Morelli Benford. Regina Benford. So that just goes to show you, if you're a beginner barbecuer, if you have a fire pit, worse yet, if you have a fire pit and you don't own a grill, don't always assume that if you're not going to put in the effort of putting together a quality aftermarket piece to sit over the top of that fire pit, or you've purchased a fire pit that has like a swing out grill. I've seen those become more and more popular in the big box stores. Lowe's has one right now. It kind of looks like an old cowboy cauldron that has a swing out. So when you're not cooking, you can just remove it all the way and you have a nice big open burning fire pit. And then if you want to cook on it, you can swing it back around. It's circular. I think Jess Pryles has some type of a circular grill that might be made by Pits and Spits too. This one, much lower scale, but conceptually, don't just go hodgepodging something together. Because that's going to end really badly because it's in your DNA or makeup as a live fire cooking and grilling enthusiast, no matter what your level, that if you see your made from scratch sitting on the top of the fire pit thing starting to cave and you're about ready to lose some meals, to grab after it and save it. Take the $40 that you're putting together that thing with and save your money for another couple months and then go buy a Weber kettle grill. Then save up for a Slow and Sear, I guess. John, still nothing?
Nothing.
What is going on?
I'm just sitting in a dark space waiting for a phone call.
Well, John Dawson, I was talking about Regina Benford falling into the fire. Did you see that story? No? John?
You said John Dawson. So
I'm sorry. Yeah, John Dawson, I was going to reference his comment, but did you see the story about the lady falling in? Yeah. So
I did. I saw her face.
John Dawson, because I said she used various lotions. It puts the lotion on the skin.
That's so wrong.
Yeah. For anybody that doesn't know, that's a Silence of the Lambs reference. It puts the lotion in the basket. That was a pretty scary movie back in the day, right? That was a pretty scary movie.
Scary today.
Yeah. I'm scared. I would never want to be in a hole like that with a dude looking down on me like that. Yuck. Gross. So, I mean, John, you're a pretty handy guy. By the way, if you don't follow John Solberg on Instagram, you can follow him. What's your handle on the Instagrams there, John?
JS00.
JS00. So you can watch him restore grills, various shapes, sizes, forms, and burn capacities and all this stuff. Do you recommend putting a cooking surface over your fire pit? Or are you kind of my mindset of, have something that you can cook on and reserve it for that, then also have a fire pit? Don't go out of your way to make something that you can cook over a fire pit on if you don't have the experience behind you, or, as in my case, the handyman skills to put something together that can really stand up to heat.
Well, there's a lot of things out there that you can put over a fire pit and cook over it, whether it be a tripod, which I use.
Yep.
They make swing grates that drive into the ground or are on a supported base.
That's right.
That you can swing over the fire pit and swing back. There's a lot of great options to cook over a fire pit. That wasn't cooking over a fire pit. That was cooking over a conflagration. That was a big fire.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big deal. So, and the thing that it was sitting over the top of, I'm trying to think, like the bars look like they might be able to hold up to some heat, but I guess you don't know how hot that fire is or really how thick those bars are. And it sounded like everything was just going to start falling into the middle, and human nature took over. She tried to save it. And did you get the feeling that she hit her head and passed out, or that she fell into the fire and her body was like, I got to pass out, otherwise we're just going to continue to scream like we are literally on fire?
I'm more inclined to think that the body said, we're out of here, because there was no big gash in the head. It's like, which is kind of, it makes me feel good. If I'm in that situation, my body's going to make me not feel it. So I'm like, okay, it's not as terrible as I thought it'd be.
Yikes. I mean, I just feel like in either event, whether you hit your head, you pass out, and you fall into the fire, you fall into the fire, and your body passes out for you. It's not a position I would rather be in, I guess.
No, I as much as we play with fire, I am afraid of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a living, breathing thing.
Oh, yeah, it's physics and motion.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, we got 6 minutes left for a Jess Pryles showing, and we'll see how that works out. So go back to standing in the dark in the corner, John. Thank you.
I'm on it.
All right. John in Michigan, your phone call screener. All right, so we agree. Regina fell into the, unfortunately, fell into the fire. Not knocked out, and then her body passed out for her because of pain. Kind of like in the old days when they used to do surgery, they gave you a bottle of really bad whiskey to kind of get drunk on, but eventually they would cause enough pain where your ass just passed out and was like, okay, I gotta be passed out now. Otherwise, you're scarred for life. Speaking of being scarred for life, and this isn't a bad joke to Regina Morale Benford. This is another story. I don't know if you saw it or not. Fox5Atlanta.com is reporting this. Marijuana disguised as bacon. Who's down? I'm down. Duluth, Georgia police have been warning parents after they found a disturbing new way for teenagers to disguise drugs in their own homes. Wait a second. Kids bring drugs home? Never happens. Body camera video shows how police discovered while searching teenagers' book bag a plastic container that looked like a package of bacon from a grocery store, but held a half ounce of marijuana. Police called the bag a stink sack. You know what? I've never... breaking news right here.
A Barbecue Central Show exclusive news update.
All right, everybody is going to think I'm lying right now. I'm not lying. I swear to God. I have never even had one puff of marijuana in my life. I'm not even kidding. But I know all of the lingo, all the drug stuff, because as a parent, you got to be hip on this stuff. I'm always constantly searching Urban Dictionary to find out new words and slang and this and that. I have never heard the term stink sack in my life. John, have you ever heard this term stink sack for marijuana?
I have not.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. Police called the bag a stink sack, purchased and used by marijuana smokers to hide the pungent smell. And a quote, "This is the first time I believe we've been in contact with something that disguised weed," said Officer Ted Sadowski. "The parents would never know," he said. The discovery happened the afternoon of mid-July off Summit Ridge Parkway. As police said, they spotted a male and a female teenager engaged in the indecent activity of what? Smoking marijuana or sex? One officer reported he smelled the possible presence of marijuana. And after the teenage driver allowed officers to search the vehicle and his book bag, discovered traces of marijuana on the seat and the bacon-disguised bag full of weed. The teenager, 18, was placed under arrest, police said, while officers said they have seen basic black stink sack bags of marijuana during drug operations. Sadowski showed Fox 5 News a website full of other stink sack bags disguised to look like wallets, mail, bread, or other household and grocery items. Also, in a quote, "It's dangerous what your kids can get into buying stuff online," he said, advising parents to question their children about their recreational activities, search their rooms and possessions, and watch for warning signs that teenagers could physically be high. Like what? Eating a lot of bacon? I mean, how would you know? First of all, being the good parent that I am, I have mandated years and years ago and made sure that all of my offspring know that because I pay for every damn thing in their life, they have zero privacy. I will routinely go through your rooms, whether you're there or not. I will look in closets, under sleeping bags, in sleeping bags, in pillows, under and in between mattresses, in the skivvies drawers, all that stuff. It's free game for me. I'm going to look and I don't care, and I will open everything. It's not that I don't trust you. It's that I don't trust you. Besides, I want to make sure that you're leading a good life, not putting yourself in a position to get pigeonholed into something that you will have to work very hard to get out of. No reason to do that now. You can do that the rest of your life, making bad business decisions. But especially for this kid, how many times did moms go into the refrigerator and almost pull out the weed bacon, thinking that she was going to rip off a quarter pound and make a egg sandwich replete with bacon? She was probably an arm's length away from getting the weed bag out or the stink sack. Stink sack. We could go in a whole different direction on that. She was probably right there, and my man was feeling really good. Maybe the mom didn't even eat bacon, but the kid ate bacon, so he had a whole best laid plan out. Mom doesn't eat bacon. I'm going to hide my weed in this bacon bag and keep it in the refrigerator. A, it'll stay fresh. B, it'll stay cool. C, mom will never know it's my weed in the house. Is there no better place you can keep your weed? When I was growing up, you gave your weed to your best friend so he could get caught. You know, you give it to your buddy Ted. Ted's dad goes through his stuff, you know, because he's an a-hole parent like me. Goes, Jimmy, is this your weed? Or, Ted, is this your weed? No, I'm holding it for Jimmy. Of course it's not my weed. All right. Well, you're going to be in trouble for it. Sorry, Ted. You give your weed to your best buddy so he gets caught. Come on. How many times I got to tell you guys? Let me talk to you quickly about Cook Shack before we get to Tales from the Pits. Cook Shack manufactures smoker ovens for barbecue lovers with any amount of experience, whether you barbecue in the backyard, on the competition circuit, or in a 5-star dining facility. Cook Shack has the unit that will do the job. And with a full line of barbecue sauces, spices, pellets, and wood chunks, the perfect one-stop shop. Cook Shack strives to be your barbecue resource center by offering cooking classes, online recipes, how-to videos, 2 blogs, smoke and grilling 101s, and a video cooking classroom. Check out their website at cookshack.com or follow them on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Pinterest, Google+. Get advice and share your passion for barbecue on their world-class barbecue forum. They still have one of those, too. Cook Shack pellet-fired smokers are the choice of champs because they were designed by a champion at Fast Eddie Morin. The FEC 100, PG 1000, always customer favorites. The PG 1000 can actually double as a smoker and a grill. Low and slow, hot and fast, the pellet grill line gives you the most for your money. If you don't like pellet cookers, refrain from running away. Take a gander at this. They have electric smokers, by the way. They're the #1 electric smoker in the industry. High quality means high durability and versatility. Anything you can cook in your oven, you can make in a Cook Shack. Passion and dedication drives Cook Shack's manufacturing, with quality always being the top priority. Get the best in barbecue since 1962. Call 800-423-0698. That's 800-423-0698. Or visit the website cookshack.com. That's cookshack.com. All right, we're back with the guys from Tales from the Pits. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central show right here on the Barbecue Central Network. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rampey.
Welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by National Barbecue News, dedicated to all things barbecue. Their goal is to introduce new people to the barbecue world while keeping the barbecue newbies and experts informed, right? Across the nation, they obtain this goal by offering timely news stories, new product reviews, barbecue event calendar, and unique recipes inside their printed products, website, social media pages, and email newsletters by subscribing. All you have to do is go to barbecuenews.com. That's barbecuenews.com. All right, let me go here. Trying to call. Let's try this. Could people be calling the wrong number? Could we have gotten into a phone interface issue as well? John, maybe we should reboot here real quick. Or not reboot, but just refresh.
You got it.
All right. Why not? Let's refresh. What? You know what? I have my phone here. I could lob a phone call in and see what happens. Uh-oh. Oh, we do have an issue, I think. Uh-oh. Double uh-oh. I see him, but I can't get him. See if he's green. Nope. Oh, boy. And now the octopus. All right, where's my Skype? Let me find it. My icons are in the worst possible place all the time. Can never get them. Is it loading? No. No. I think as we look back on this could go as like one of the worst technically produced shows ever. I think. So let's do this. Suffer through this with me, folks. I'm going to call the call-in line. Oops. 777. This could explain why there was no Just Pryles either. But let's see what happens. Put it on the speaker so you can hear it. Ringing. And ringing. Like, are we through here? Let me see. Nothing. Yeah, that's the right number, too. That's weird. All right. Well, as we continue down what ends up being a travesty of a ship. Wow.
Get that big stuff out of here.
That was mega. See, everything's wrong. Everything's bad. That was bad, okay? It was real bad. Things are bad. Things aren't good. They're bad. Even that. Jeez, oh, Pete. All right. We might have been in there, but now we're out of there. Let me get back to this. And let me pull my notes up. I'll tell you who's getting the best laugh out of this. It's the guys from Tales from the Pits. It's the best. They love this. They are going to love it. White Thunder Barbecue is in. Happy to see him. Sorry, we're struggling through some difficulties here, my guy. But we're trying to get through. Anybody? How come I can't get John on the air anymore? Plus, I had somebody tell me that we were on Facebook. I know we're not on Facebook either tonight.
Get that big stuff out of here.
Yeah. YouTube is probably the place we got to go. That seems to be the best way to figure it out. I think. I don't know. All right. Might have this worked out now. As I had mentioned in the show open, last week I had talked specifically about the guys from Tales from the Pit and how they had taken down an episode, and we are locked and loaded. Here we go. Talk to the guys from Tales from the Pit. Guys, thanks for joining me. How are you?
Oh man, Greg, I can't wait to hear from the Tales from the Pit guys, man. Where are they?
This is Tales from the Pits, right?
Yeah, go ahead, guys.
No.
No, this is
Who is this?
This is Yanni, man. You booked me earlier. You said you wanted to talk to me. I'm from Stories from the Smokers.
Yanni?
Yanni from Stories from the Smokers.
Stories
telling you the barbecue. Yeah, that we tell you the barbecue tales from the pit.
Okay, all right. Tales from the not tales from the pits, but stories from the smokers. And Yanni, I have to be honest. I thought I had the guys from Tales from the Pits booked, but it sounds like there might have been some mix-up or whatever. But okay. I mean, let's. Evidently, they're not here. So, can you give me some type of idea of like what's your show about, or what's your niche in the industry?
Oh, we talk all about Texas barbecue, and we're based in Austin, Texas, and we break news left and right.
You break news left and right?
Every day, we're always breaking news, which is why I wanted to get on your show there, Greg.
All right.
I got some news to break.
I am always somebody that loves a breaking news. In fact, I have this sounder.
A Barbecue Central Show exclusive news update.
And I'm always playing that when we're breaking news. So from a production standpoint, Yanni, I do have those skills behind me. So you're ready to break news tonight on this show? Is that what you're saying?
I would like to break the biggest news to hit the barbecue world since we learned that Aaron Franklin was shutting down his barbecue shop.
Now, wait a second.
He wasn't shutting.
I don't know.
Well, like I was going to say, Greg.
Yeah, okay.
Then the next biggest news is we learned that he wasn't shutting down his barbecue shop.
Right. Thank goodness. Are we relieved about that, Yanni?
Well, there's actually more news involving Aaron Franklin that I would like to break right now.
Really?
Because I am standing in Franklin Barbecue right this second. It is closed. Everyone knows this. It is doing a remodel with a new head chef. And do you have that drum roll sound, Greg?
All right, hold on. I love how you're telling me how to produce my show.
Guy Fieri!
Is going to be the new kitchen manager?
That's right. Guy Fieri. What do you think, Greg?
I mean, I don't know. My mind is blown. I have no way of actually corroborating your story, or you've never called into my show before. I don't know what you're telling me, the guy from Stories from the Smokers, that while Franklin is closed down, the new kitchen manager is going to be Guy Fieri, the guy from Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives.
That's right. Whole new menu, too.
Oh, yeah. What's on the menu?
Well, I always like to start with a side of rootin' tootin' baked beans.
Because the more you eat, the more you toot?
You know, I talked to Aaron, and he loves this.
Yeah. What? You talked to Aaron?
And that was his reaction, too. Yes, he hired me. I love this. Oh, well, he hired me to be his official podcast. I should have told you that.
Oh, okay.
We are his favorite podcaster. He chooses us to deliver the news. He put up this sign that says, "No shooting, no Putin, no tootin'."
Okay. All right, so that's one of Guy Fieri's signature items, the rootin' tootin' beans. What other menu items are going to be? You know, I believe it's long been known that Franklin's Barbecue not too keen on deviating from what's on the menu right now.
Well, this is 2018. There's a lot of competition, and he knows that new school barbecue is a big deal. So next on the menu I'm seeing here is the Twerky Turkey, presented by Butterball.
Twerky Turkey?
The Twerky Turkey. It's very catchy, and Guy loves the catchy food.
And Aaron Franklin is going with a Butterball turkey? That seems to be not in his wheelhouse for some reason. I don't know why. I'm just thinking that.
Well, as you know, Greg, whenever you're sponsored by someone, I mean, you've got to bow to them.
Oh, you have to bow to them?
You have to bow to them.
Oh.
Butterball presents Twerky Turkey. All right.
Twerky Turkey.
And next on the menu,
we
have pulled dork.
Pulled what?
Pulled dork.
Pulled dork. Why dork?
Yeah. Well, it's like the pulled pork that he used to have on the menu.
Yeah.
But Guy decided he would put these funny little black dorky glasses on top of the pile of pork.
So the pork's supposed to look like Aaron Franklin?
That's right.
So what you're saying is, Yanni, that Aaron Franklin has hired you. You're his official podcast, and you're also allowed to make fun of him and his look. I mean, is that going to keep you being his official podcast for very long?
He is the nicest man in barbecue, and
Yes.
he will hire anybody.
Okay, what other menu items do you get?
Well, you got to go with the classics. So we have the signature smothered trash lid brisket.
Trash lid brisket?
Yeah, that's a 7 or 8 hour smoked brisket served on a trash can lid and covered in Aaron Franklin's new signature creamy, dreamy barbecue sauce.
Oh, my God. Yanni, I think we've hit the limit here. Where can people subscribe to you? Are you subscribable?
I didn't even tell you about the Franklin Furter sausage dippers.
The Franklin Furter sausage dippers?
Yes, with creamy, dreamy barbecue sauce.
If Guy Fieri is the guy that was redundant. If Guy Fieri is the person putting this menu together, he should be right there. Where is he? Can I talk to him?
Hey! Tell him about the Franklin's Fabulous Fried Fiesta Salad.
Guy, is that you?
Hey, great. That's me, Greg.
How come you've never come on my show until now? You sound really weird, by the way.
I'm having such a good time.
Nice laugh, Guy. Is this Guy marijuana or Guy Fieri? What?
What I wanted to tell you. Sorry, I started some brisket in my throat. What I wanted to tell you, Greg, is I got this great salad on the menu. We got the fried brisket croutons all over a mayo-infused broccoli slaw, slathered in a pale ale vinaigrette.
Pale ale vinaigrette. That's nice.
I got to go back to the kitchen. Here's the host. Hey, Greg.
Oh, hey, Guy. I mean, Yanni. How are you?
Yeah, hey.
Good.
Great, man. So I'm glad we could break that news, and I think it'll hit all the presses tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. Well, where can people get at you, Yanni?
Oh, they can subscribe by going to iTunes, putting in BBQ, and then waiting a few weeks, and then my show will show up, hopefully.
All right. Thanks for calling in, Johnny.
Bye.
Yanni. Wow. Hey, look at this. From Spring Valley. Sean, what's up?
What's up, Greg?
Hey. Got a couple minutes.
No technical difficulties over here.
Well, evidently they've been breeding all this evening, and you might have just gotten through them, luckily. But I was talking with Dr. Barbecue in the first hour, and he said that he is actually going to be out at the Del Mar racetrack for Bet on Barbecue. So you're really kind of you and your buddy Derek, kind of one of the 2, 3, 4 founding members of this whole situation. So tell me a little bit about the event and when it's happening and all the good stuff that's going to be going on.
Yeah, very exciting. This will be 3rd annual Turf and Surf Barbecue Championship. It's a Kansas City Barbecue Society event. Right now we have registered 55 KCBS teams.
Wow.
10 of those teams will be competing in the People's Choice. We also have 8 local restaurants, pitmasters that are going to come out and cook. We also have some seafood companies as well as some dessert companies. All you can eat barbecue, includes craft beer, and it's a day at the races. It's kind of pretty incredible to have an event that's a football throw away from the Pacific Ocean.
How close are you to track viewing? Is it like right in the infield, or how does that set up?
We're actually right at the concert venue. So the concert venue where Kaboo, which is a huge concert that goes on after the races are over, we're right next to the track. So pretty incredible place to barbecue. And now that we're getting people like Dr. Barbecue to come out on behalf of Big Green Egg to put on a live cooking demo, probably do a little podcasting, sign some books, and it's going to be a great time. We also have Sam the Cooking Guy coming out, and
nice.
A lot of local sports media celebrities. So we're going to have a good time.
You had mentioned podcasting. Are you going to be getting some stuff for Behind the Smoke, or what's the thought there?
That's the thought. Yeah, we're going to get some stuff. Hopefully we'll be able to spend some time with Dr. Barbecue for an episode of Behind the Smoke. It's always challenging to do an off-site recording, but we were able to do it last year with Randy Gill, who was kind of one of our barbecue mentors, and we made it happen, and hopefully we can do that with Dr. Barbecue.
Sean, what's the state of California barbecue? I was talking with Sterling Ball, who I know is also going to be competing at that event here in a couple weeks, and he was saying that from a California perspective, contests seem to be dropping off quicker than people infected with the plague, maybe 10, 11, maybe even a dozen competitions here over the last 12 months or so. How are you finding the overall interest in competition barbecue, and is it declining right now, especially in that region?
You know, that's a great question. I think we talked about it when we were out at National Barbecue Association with you in Fort Worth. It's one of the things that is top of mind for Derek, who owns the butcher shop and helps put on the events with me, Derek Marceau, him and I. California, it's really tough to find a venue that's willing to give you space if you don't have barbecue teams that are participating in People's Choice. In order to participate in People's Choice, you pretty much have to be a catering company and have a temporary food facility permit. And it's just a lot of different hurdles that you have to jump through in order to get the space, get the venue. And, you know, it's getting more difficult. I don't think the interest in barbecue is declining. I think it's just becoming more challenging from an operational standpoint and an organizer perspective to really pull off events that work.
Sean, how's the restaurant going right now? You're owner of Cali Comfort Barbecue. What's the business like there right now?
Business is great. This is kind of our slower time for the restaurant. We're kind of busier 9 months out of the year, kind of on school season. And for us, the restaurant's a little bit slower, but we have a lot of caterings that we do in the off season, and obviously getting ready for this event coming up, and right after that we put on our amateur barbecue event, so we stay busy.
What are the dates again for the Del Mar event?
Del Mar event's August 19th, Sunday, August 19th. The day before, we load in on the $1 Million Horse Race, which is the Pacific Classic, so we'll have all the teams loading in, and they'll be able to bet on some ponies once they get settled in.
Nice. All right. So if you're interested, you're going to be out that way. August 19th is the place to be over there at Del Mar Racetrack. See Sean, see Derek, see Dr. Barbecue, see Sam the cooking guy, see Sterling Ball, friend of show, of course, yes. And it sounds like it's going to be a great event. Sean, thanks for doing it, man. Appreciate you coming in.
Absolutely. I appreciate you.
All right. There he is. It's Sean. He's going back. John, he's coming back to you. We'll see if that works. And then there was... I don't even know what happened before, Sean. There was stories from the smoker, I believe it was, right? Yeah, Yanni. All right, well, that happened. Let me talk to you quickly about the Barbecue Guru before we make tracks out of here. We always believed outdoor cooking should be easy because it can be, especially with the Monolith Barbecue Guru Edition grill. The Monolith, the world's first temperature-controlled smoker with a built-in power draft fan. This means smarter control, greater freedom with automatic temperature control. Easily choose your cooking time and temperature and let the Monolith do the work of a sous chef or barbecue pitmaster. With minimal effort, you now have oven-like precision at the grill and can serve the tastiest, juiciest meals each and every time you visit the website. Barbecue Guru, that's bbqguru.com. bbqguru.com. Or visit the website. Or call them 800-288-GURU. That's 800-288-GURU, and they'll make sure you're outfitted with exactly what you need to get you up and running right out of the box. All right, let's wrap up the show. Stick around. We will be right back.
Whole packers, full racks, legs and thighs, injecting butts. If you've never heard this before, you might think you found the best XXX show ever. Let's get back to the most homoerotic host out there today, Greg Rempe.
All right, we are back at John, any idea what happened there?
Which time?
I guess like why we couldn't connect.
Yeah, I have a pretty good understanding of it.
Okay.
I think I have some information for us.
All right, we'll go offline after that. And then You know, every fiber of my being was wanting to play the Yanni music underneath him because I just happened to have that bed ready to go, of course. Previous. But I held back because I wanted to give the guy a little room and see how he was going to work it. But do you have any belief that that was Guy Fieri and he's the new kitchen manager at Franklin Barbecue?
Gun to my head? No, that's not Guy Fieri.
You don't think that was Guy Fieri? What are you talking about? I guarantee it was. And okay. I will not.
Andrew, you are not.
I will not be deleting this episode of the Barbecue Central show. I'm going to stand by it. I think that was Guy Fieri and that he's the new kitchen manager because that's what they told me. When it happens on the internet, John, what do we know about the internet? Everything on the internet is...
It's true.
Of course. All right, and I'm going to wrap up here and see if we can't get out on time. And then I'll catch up with you here after the show, and we'll figure out what the hell just happened. All the way back in the first hour, we talked with Ray Lampe, Dr. Barbecue. Then, briefly, we talked with David Parrish from Adrenaline Barbecue Company, ABC Barbecue. That's BARBECUE, Adrenaline Barbecue Company. abcbarbecue.com with the Slow and Sear product. We'll hook him back up here in a couple weeks. Second hour, Jess Pryles, nowhere to be found. Maybe she got caught up in the call-in monster. Maybe not. We'll see how that works out. And then, while I was planning for Tales from the Pits, I got stories from the smokers. And I think we broke news that Guy Fieri is going to be the new kitchen manager at Franklin Barbecue. I'm going to stick with that. I like that, so I want to believe that. Sean Walchef closed it out, talking about the Bet on Barbecue. If you're going to be out there on the West Coast, August 19th, check it out. Lots of great stars and local celebs are going to be there, 50 teams or so. 50 plus. It's going to be a great event. Check out. Say hi to Sean. Say hi to Derek. Derek is a ridiculously big human being who I would never cross, ever, Derek. Even though you don't talk about me, I love you. All right, big show planned for you next week. We'll see if we can and or how we would reload anybody that we missed this past week. September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. Until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this is your program host, the proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.